Welcome to The Explainer. I am so incredibly pumped to take you through this one today. We are exploring the absolute cutting edge of longevity research from Dr. David Sinclair. We're going to bridge the gap between some truly mind-bending breakthroughs happening inside his lab right now and the daily, practical habits you can actually implement in your own life today. It's a fascinating journey, taking us from the microscopic level of our cells all the way to what you're putting on your dinner plate tonight. Now, what if the secret to living past 100 is hidden in artificial intelligence, stressed plants, and actually making your life just a little bit harder? I know, it sounds straight out of a science fiction movie, right? But to reach what scientists are calling longevity escape velocity, we really have to connect these dots. We have to take these sci-fi level laboratory discoveries and figure out how they translate into our everyday lifestyle choices. Section 1. The GLP-1 longevity link. Okay, let's dive right into this. To kick things off, we have to talk about a massive cultural and medical phenomenon happening right now: GLP-1 weight loss drugs. You've definitely heard of them, but their connection to the aging process itself is genuinely taking researchers by surprise. We are starting to see a really stark contrast in the clinical data. On one hand, GLP-1s offer these massive benefits for the heart and brain. By treating obesity, they directly slow down your pace of aging. But Dr. Sinclair points out a rare, yet highly serious downside that his team is actively tracking. It's a condition called NIOION. Essentially, it involves patients waking up with sudden, severe vision loss or even total blindness. To put that risk into perspective, we're talking about 20,000 to 30,000 people in the US who suffer from this exact type of sudden blindness every single year. It can absolutely happen without the drugs, but it is a devastating condition regardless. But here is where the story gets incredibly hopeful. Sinclair's lab isn't just waving a red flag about this, they're actually working on a treatment called ER100 therapy to see if they can reverse this exact type of drug-induced blindness. Section 2. AI and reversing aging. Let's shift gears and see how this builds, because finding therapies to reverse blindness, or frankly, reverse aging entirely, is a monumental task. But the pace of this research has completely changed overnight. And the reason? Artificial intelligence. AI is exponentially accelerating the work being done in Sinclair's lab. I absolutely love the energy of this quote from Dr. Sinclair directly. He says, "If anyone tells you AI can only do what we've taught it, that is the biggest bunch of BS you'll ever hear." He isn't viewing AI as just some fancy calculator. In the realm of longevity research, AI is acting as a highly creative, wildly brilliant scientist in its own right. It's pushing the boundaries of what the human team even thought to look for. To show you exactly what he means, let's look at the daily reality in his lab right now. Work that would have taken scientists literally hundreds of years is now happening in minutes. They're using AI to analyze millions of cells to determine if they are old or young, and it takes, maybe 10 minutes? They're using AI-driven drug design to scan not just billions, but eventually trillions of molecules to find ones that might actually reverse aging. And most incredibly, they recently collaborated with an agentic AI system called Cadence. That means an AI that can make its own decisions and pursue goals autonomously. They fed it massive amounts of transcriptomic data, which is essentially the huge instruction manual of our cells, and the AI creatively discovered a brand new way to look at biological age. It was an idea the human scientists hadn't even considered. Section 3. Curing the incurable. So what happens when you point these hyper-creative AI systems at human biology? Well, you start finding ways to attack conditions that modern medicine currently considers completely incurable. To understand how they're curing the incurable, we really have to understand the biological barriers of aging, specifically the Hayflick limit. The Hayflick limit is basically the point where our cells have divided too many times. The protective caps on our chromosomes, which are called telomeres, run out of length, and the cell just stops dividing. It's essentially a built-in biological clock. But Sinclair's lab is using something called OSK therapy, which involves turning on specific youthful genes. They're finding evidence that by turning on OSK, an enzyme called telomerase is activated. This activation could potentially extend those telomeres and push the life of our cells right past this natural barrier. And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world impact of that cellular reprogramming. We are seeing unbelievable results in animal models. We aren't just talking about slowing these diseases down anymore. We are talking about reversal. In ALS models, they're seeing the actual regrowth of motor neurons back to the muscle. In macular degeneration, they've shown that both wet and dry conditions are reversible to some extent in gold standard animal models. And again, with the NAIN blindness we discussed earlier, this is the exact therapy being positioned to potentially reverse it. It is truly revolutionary stuff. Section 4. The power of stress plants. Now, let's bring this incredible science out of the multi-million-dollar lab and right into your kitchen. Because while we wait for these therapies to hit the clinic, there are ways you can activate your own survival and longevity pathways today, simply through your diet. The crucial point here is a concept called xenohormesis. This is a hypothesis Dr. Sinclair helped publish years ago. The idea is that human beings actually evolved to sense stress and the plant world around us. Think about it. Long before we could visibly see that plants were dying off and a famine was coming, our bodies learned to sense the chemical changes in the plants we were eating. When plants are stressed, like by a lack of water or way too much sun, they produce high levels of polyphenols. Those are essentially plant defense chemicals. When we eat those stressed plants, those polyphenols give our bodies a chemical heads up. Our bodies go, uh-oh, the environment is turning harsh, we need to hunker down, repair our cells, and get ready for starvation. It immediately puts us into a defensive, longevity-boosting adversity mode. So how do you actually trigger this adversity mode at dinner time? Here are Sinclair's specific tips. Step 1, eat the rainbow. You want dark leafy greens and deeply colored vegetables. Step 2, choose plants that have been a bit stressed out. Sinclair's personal favorite right now is lightly steamed broccolini. Step 3, top it all off with highly bitter olive oil. Do not go for the smooth stuff. The really bitter olive oils are absolutely packed with these stress-signaling polyphenols. Add a little lemon, salt, and pepper, and you are literally eating a longevity-activating signal. Section 5, mastering your health span. Let's step back from the specific foods for a minute and look at the broader picture of your health span. A lot of people feel kind of helpless about aging, thinking it's entirely up to the genetic lottery. But the science is rapidly shifting on how much control you actually have. For a really long time, the prevailing thought in the field was that your lifespan was mostly determined by genetics, with maybe only 10 to 15% being up to your lifestyle. Well, recent research has thrown a massive bomb into that theory. New estimates suggest it's closer to a 50-50 split. That means at least half of your health span, meaning how long you live free of severe disease, is entirely up to your daily actions, behaviors, and environment. You are literally in the driver's seat for half of the equation. And part of that lifestyle control isn't just physical. It's mental. A massive study by the National Academies of Sciences found that optimists live 15% longer than pessimists. Let that sink in for a second. The belief that you can live longer, having a purpose, feeling needed in society, your mindset has a measurable physiological impact on how long you survive. The void between what we used to call woo-woo, subjective feelings, and hard biological data is closing incredibly fast in longevity research. Which brings us to the single most urgent lifestyle shift you can make today. We have to escape the abundance world we live in. We exist indoors 90% of the time in perfectly air-conditioned rooms, sitting on comfortable chairs, breathing stale air, completely surrounded by plastics. This total lack of physical struggle is literally killing us. Our bodies are designed to thrive in an adversity world instead. We need to intentionally stress our bodies to keep those survival pathways turned on. That means forcing yourself to feel hot in a dry sauna or an infrared sauna. It means feeling cold. It means ditching the plastics and Teflon, filtering your air with HEPA filters, and making sure you are constantly moving. I want to leave you with this final thought. Look around the room you are in right now. Look at your comfortable indoor environment. How can you embrace just a little more adversity today? Could you hit the sauna? Maybe swap your easy lunch for a salad full of bitter, stressed plants. Could you just take a walk and get slightly uncomfortable in the elements? The science clearly shows that half of your aging process is yours to control, and the tools to do it are already in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this sparks you to make one small change today that pays off for decades to come.